Oh man, this thing is cool. Wow, I want one of these. It's so quiet. Okay, I found the foot pegs. It's got a touchy back brake. Oh, I stalled it. I stalled it like first try. So far, it feels like it has about as much as power as my WR. Yeah, this thing is neat. This is a Royal Enfield Himalayan. It needs quite a bit of gas to get going. This one, okay, it's making a little bit of noise. I think that's the side bags. Oh yeah, gets going just fine. Oh my gosh, I love all the gauges. It's got a gear indicator, a speedometer, a tachometer, gas gauge, and what is that? A neutral? Oh no, that's compass. He was telling me about that. That's cool. This thing is it's pretty neat. I really like the windshield. The form factor is great. That's full throttle out of, oh, I'm in fourth. Wow, it's so low revving. So it's a 5-speed. It says I'm at a little over 3,000 RPM, but it feels like I'm lugging it. I like it. It's very comfy. The back brake is a little too touchy for me. There have been a couple instances where I give it a little bit too much juice. Yes, he's got something here that's making a lot of noise. It might just be his keys here. It's a pretty sweet bike. Like I said, I really like the form factor. It's very compact for an adventure bike. It feels very manageable. Like, you could probably get a really short girl to ride this and not be scared because the engine is so tame off of the bottom, and it's like, it has the power, but it's really not there at the bottom. And you're so close to the ground. This feels like the Honda Rebel of adventure bikes. Okay, I'm passing you on the left. Oh yeah, it'll go highway speed, no problem. There's Noah on my WR right now. We just traded bikes, and I'm curious to see what he has to say about the bike. It definitely does not have ridiculous amounts of power. I don't know that I would want to take this on really tough trails because, you know, it'd be hard to like get the front wheel up over stuff. But if you're just talking fun, like, you know, regular trails, not like hard enduro stuff, I'm sure this would be a great bike. It kind of feels, I wonder if this is similar to the CRF 250 Rally, because it feels almost a little bit like a dirt bike with fairings, just a little bit. I love that classy, just European bike look. And the gauges, I can't get over. The cockpit of this bike is just perfect. My arms are never gonna get tired. I will say, I don't know how I feel about the foot peg positioning. I did just come off the WR, which has obviously a pretty tall seat, so there's a lot of room for your legs. But I think my feet are a little more cramped than I would want. You know, I'm not leaning it over like crazy, but it feels very planted. It feels super stable. It's actually kind of a windy day right now, and it's handling pretty darn well. It feels very stable. It feels very predictable. It's got these end weights. What are they? Bar ends, yeah. It's got bar ends with some weights on them that they feel pretty nice, and I think that probably contributes to the stability of it. The biggest adventure bike that I have a lot of seat time on is definitely the V-Strom 650. This feels like a baby V-Strom. It really does. It feels like a V-Strom with one cylinder, the fun size version. I'm not a huge fan of the engine, I'll be honest. I really don't love the engine. But the rest of the bike, the fit and finish, the look of it, the handling, it's all great. But like, I'm literally wide open right now, and this feels like it has the same power, if not less, than my... Ooh, that was a deer. I'm wide open right now, and this feels like it has pretty similar power to the WR. In fact, I think the WR probably has more horsepower. You just have to really wind it out. This bike revs extremely low. It's only a 5-speed, but those 5 gears are big. They are massive. So it's not like, I don't think you'll ever want another gear on this bike. To be honest, it's kind of sluggish, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's just the type of bike it is. It has just enough power and absolutely nothing more. The suspension feels great. It is very low to the ground, and that might be a concern if you're riding trails. My feet are like, it feels like they're a couple inches off the ground. I know I've got more room than I think, but they're pretty darn close. Everything here feels very familiar. It feels like a sport touring bike that's just a little small. It feels like a 75% size sport tourer. Could I take this on a long, maybe dirt-esque trip? Absolutely. It's not pretending to be a dirt bike, but it'd be more than capable enough to go on fire roads and do that kind of riding. I would feel probably way more comfortable taking this off-road than I would a KLR. It might not have the ground clearance or the power of a KLR, but it's a lot more manageable. It's just a lot more nimble and lightweight and confidence inspiring. The seat's not actually that bad. I have a particularly bony butt. I don't think I'm a fan of any motorcycle seat, but this isn't bad. The seating position, I think, is very good. The seat could probably be a little better, but the position is good, which is the most important thing. So I compared it to the Honda Rebel, but what's a car I would compare it to? This might be like the Ford Ranger of cars. It has enough power to do everything you need and nothing more. It's relatively comfy, and everything that's there is very good. But it's pretty minimalistic. It's easy to drive, and it's small and nimble. I can stand up on this no problem. I mean, it's not a dirt bike, but I feel pretty darn comfy standing up on this. It's so short. The front tire's right there. This is definitely a great bike to do touring on. Long trips, oh yeah. Any day, I would take this bike any day over the WR if I was just riding highways like this. It's got more creature comforts, it's got better gauges, it's got more space to mount stuff, it's got wind protection, and it feels a lot more stable. That's the most important thing. It feels a lot more stable on the road than the WR. I like this. I like this bike a lot. If you want a small touring bike that is capable of doing fire roads and stuff like that, I think this is probably the ticket. And not only that, but it's affordable. Every single one of these in the US is fuel injected. That's a big plus. I'd much rather this than a DRZ with the carburetor. I really like the big gears. Oh man, this thing is cool. Wow, I want one of these. I want one of these with twice the power. Overall, I'm very impressed with this bike. If I had to give it a score out of 10, I think I would give it a solid 7. Because even though it doesn't have a ton of power, it's a fun, nimble bike that's still capable of getting on the highway and doing nice trips and stuff and looking great. And there's not a lot of bikes in a small adventure class. There's like the BMW 310, the KTM 390 Adventure is coming out. I've never even seen one of those. I've seen the Dukes, but never an Adventure. I don't think I would expect KTM though to come out with the reliable touring bike. That's just not what I would expect from them. They're a performance company, and that's all they've ever been known for. It's so low to the ground. Thanks for letting me ride it.